What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about some actually really solid defensive compositions for a Darth Revan team. You can see right now both me and Dragon, we are sitting at number 1 and number 2. We did just have our payout, but we found that through last night we both pretty much ran the same composition of Darth Revan, HK-47, Bastila, Sith Assassin, and Sith Trooper. He fell to 10, I fell to about 15. It's a pretty remarkable improvement over our usual Jedi Revan, where everybody has Revan and you're falling back into the 20s and 30s overnight. So we have found that it's a pretty solid defensive team so far with the regular Sith Empire characters, and it actually got to the point where people couldn't defeat Dragon's team on defense. So I want to talk to you guys about that one. You can see here people saying could not beat Dragon. So yeah, Dragon's team is pretty solid, so I want to talk about that with the mods, and then I want to talk to you guys about some other more friendly mod team compositions out there. The one with full Sith Empire, it's going to require a pretty heavy amount of god tier mods, and that right now is part of the problem, and that follows up with my video last night where I said, you know, there's something lacking with the defensive viability of these Darth Revan teams. A full Sith Empire team's just really not that good on defense, and it's because if you don't have those god tier mods like Dragon has on his team, you can go here and look at his mods. He's got speed on his Darth Revan, and look at that, 329 speed, 163 bonus speed. I mean, you're talking incredibly fast Darth Revan. That actually will outspeed some of the Jedi Revans on our arena. So his team is stupidly fast, and he's holding very well. He's defeating a lot of people on defense, but that is the main problem where we're starting to find that maybe this is going to be one of those metas where you have to have those top-end mods to really hold on defense, or just have to get lucky with Jedi Revan, and that is probably not going to be too popular of a team, because again, not many people have those god tier mods, and while it holds really well and it just absolutely crushes on defense, there are more viable options for those who are using lower tier mods, things where you can't stack something like 150 speed on all of your characters. So with Dragon's team and the stupidly high speed on these characters, he can hold really well. I mean, he held in the top 10 pretty much the entire day, and I fell down to about 15 with my regular team. I tried swapping in just Darth Sion in place of Sith Trooper. That did not go too well. The people who were trying against my team said it was much easier to defeat Darth Sion in place of Sith Trooper. So oppressing Sith Trooper with a tank on his own is not going to be that good, but there's two compositions that work really well with Darth Sion tossed into those Sith Empire teams and switching out some other characters, so I do want to talk about those, and the first one is going to be Darth Nihilus. Now, the one with Darth Nihilus is you pretty much will switch him out for that fourth character, so you're switching out Sith Assassin, you're keeping Darth Revan, HK, and Bastila, and you're putting in Nihilus and Sion. Now, the trick here is going to be that Nihilus has that Annihilate, he can increase cooldowns on the enemy team, but the way you want to mod Sion is that you want him to go right behind Darth Revan in terms of speed. So you want to throw a very high speed set on Darth Sion. If you have to dumb down the speed mods on Darth Revan a little bit, that will be fine. But pretty much what's going to happen is Darth Revan is going to use his fear first on the enemy leader, he is going to put fear on the enemy team, and then you are going to follow up with a Dispel from Sion, which cannot be evaded. It's going to hit everybody, they're going to get the fear to proc, which is going to increase the cooldowns, and at the same time they're going to lose all of the buffs on the enemy team. Now this will go ahead and feed the protection health regen on HK-47, and if he's being marked, that's going to help him survive, though I have seen a lot of people trying to go for Fallen Bastila first on these teams when they're fighting with Jedi Revan. I personally prefer HK-47, but I understand why people want to go for Fallen Bastila because of her fear and her shock that can actually hit like a truck if you do manage things correctly. So that team, I've heard from multiple people, is doing really well on offense, and people are struggling to defeat it on defense. So that team, I think, is going to be one that's a little more mod-friendly. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to put a high-speed set on Sion and keep him right behind Darth Revan. So that is pretty much the only struggle there, but really just kind of using the Dispel from Sion and the fact that he can put pain on the enemy team, so stack him up with some potency as well, and then he's forced to tank, and that will make it a lot harder for those teams to attack you. That gives time for Nihilus to wear out the enemy team and, kind of get his cooldown increases and annihilate, and once you get annihilate, you can't revive that character. And just like Deathmark with Darth Revan, you cannot revive those characters. And people have been asking me about that today. Deathmark prevents a character from being revived. So if Jedi Revan gets Deathmark and is killed through that Deathmark mechanic, it will prevent him from being revived. People don't seem to understand that and aren't getting that. It's because of Deathmark. So for those of you who are wondering, the Deathmark is preventing the revive from Jolee to revive Jedi Revan. Now, moving on from that, the last team that I want to talk to you guys about here is one that it's kind of popping up in a couple places. It's not the R2BB8 video, or it's not the R2BB8 team. That one is still pretty interesting. You basically force BB8 and R2 to go first, put smokescreen on Darth Revan, and then the mark is wasted on Darth Revan, no one can kill him, and you pretty much allow the team to go crazy. No, the last team I want to talk to you guys is this team right here. Darth Revan, HK, Fallen Basila, Chewbacca, and Darth Sion. Now, this one seems a little weird because you're using a non-Sith character here, which is even more weird than using the non-Sith Empire characters, but still using Sith. This one actually works really well. I've seen some footage of it on offense. The people have explained the concept of the team to me for defense and how well this thing is going to work out. My two guildmates, Eric and Falcons, are on the same shard, and Falcons has been running this team since last night, and people are complaining about not being able to defeat his team. And what this team does is pretty much no matter who you mark, it allows you to wreck with the rest of the team. So Darth Revan, obviously you're not going to mark him because that is wasted. You're not going to be able to kill him. HK-47, you can go ahead and mark him, and he'll eventually die, but still allows Chewbacca and Darth Sion to really do a lot of big hits and dispels. Basila and Darth Revan are going to have that shock synergy and do a lot of damage. If you mark Fallen Basila, that then means that HK-47 is going to move and call Chewbacca to assist, because HK is going to get the guard. He's squishier than anybody else here on the team, especially with the unique from Fallen Basila and Darth Revan. He is then going to be able to get the guard from Chewie and call in the assist. So then you mark Chewbacca, but then you allow the rest of the Sith team to operate here. And this team, as we have found in defensive testing, even 3-on-5 against a Jedi Revan team, you can still win on defense at that point. This team is pretty damn powerful, so the fact that you can still win 3v5 against a Jedi Revan team with a Darth Revan team should speak volumes about it. So if you get rid of Chewbacca, you leave the other 4 Sith there, and if you get rid of Darth Sion, well, you still have a lot of damage you have to contend with here. And even then, Darth Sion is going to be pretty hard to defeat at that point anyways. So no matter who you mark here, you're gonna get screwed some way because you still have a lot of damage output on this team. And overall, it looks like it could be a very viable defensive team. Now, of course, the mods on this are probably gonna be a little stringent or gonna be a little heavier than what you were expecting. But it's one of those surprising teams, and I've actually even seen people take out Chewbacca and throw in Grand Admiral Thrawn for this team as well. That allows Grand Admiral Thrawn to put a fracture on either Kenobi or Jolee on the enemy team, even Yoda if he has to, and then that allows the rest of the team to just go ham and wipe out someone. So if you want to shut down Grandmaster Yoda and get that, really shut down that huge damage from the Jedi Revan team, or you want to fracture General Kenobi and that allows you to pick off some of the other characters on the team, whoever you want to use Grand Admiral Thrawn to fracture here, it's going to work great. And really, this one I think is probably one of my favorite non-traditional defensive videos or defensive teams that we've seen so far. And, I don't have a lot of defensive footage just yet. I mean, again, this character has come out in the last 24 hours. We're still working on things. I'm hoping to get some defensive footage tonight of this team before I post this video. So we will see how this stuff all works out. But really, I think it's easy to say that, right now it looks like Darth Revan sucks on defense, and like I said in my video, Malak is probably going to be the answer to that. But in the meantime, there are ways to improvise around that by bringing in characters you don't traditionally think of. Now, you can use the Sith characters, and then you can use characters outside that, like Grand Admiral Thrawn, or even Chewbacca. Now, these are for Jedi Revan fights. Against mirror matches, it's not gonna really go too well. You know, Darth Sion, Grand Admiral Thrawn, you lose a lot of synergy there that you'd have with the Sith Empire characters. So if you're doing mirror matches, you're in a very heavy Darth Revan shard, using Sith Empire characters is going to be the way to go for mirror matches. It's not going to really hold on defense for mirrors. So if you are in a shard that doesn't have a lot of Darth Revans, something like this is really going to help you hold against those Jedi Revans, CLS squads out there. But if it's just Darth Revans, I highly recommend you just go straight to a Sith Empire team. That's just the best way to go for it. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know down below, what teams have you guys tried on defense so far? I think we've covered quite a few of them. The R2-BB-8 combo, Thrawn and Sion, Sion and Nihilus, Chewbacca and Nut Sion. Sion seems to be a pretty commonplace character for them, and, you know, makes sense because he's quite a bit tankier than Sith Trooper in this team. But let me know down below, what teams are you guys trying on defense? How has your luck been so far? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will talk to you guys later.